During the final exams, the school beauty girl was caught cheating. She cried and said I had forced her to do it. She even pulled out some evidence, falsely accusing me of driving her into depression. Why won't you admit it? Are you trying to drive me to my death? As he spoke, he took another small step toward the rooftop. My boyfriend made me admit it without even asking. Li Xingnan. That's a human life. How can you be so cold-blooded? Everyone urged me to put human life first. I sneered. So what if we die? Come on. Let's die together. I lunged forward and plunged off the rooftop together with the school beauty amid her terrified gaze. Of course not. Because there was an air cushion waiting for them downstairs. Sorry. I've been reborn. I was woken up by the proctor. Looking at the exam room before me strange yet familiar, I froze for a moment. Aren't I already dead? The online expose that Lian personally orchestrated not only cost me my spot in the direct admission program, but also exposed my personal information online. In an instant, I went from being the teacher's favorite student to the target of everyone's criticism. He was thrust into the spotlight by so-called champions of justice online. Can't go to school. Can't find a job. He ultimately died under the wheels of one of Lian's most ardent admirers. How did he end up in the classroom during the final exam? Before I could figure it out, I saw a piece of paper fall to the ground to my left and in front of me. That's where Lian is. Upon closer inspection, Lian seemed a little younger than before. Gone were the heavy makeup and designer clothes of her past life. I looked at the scene before me, feeling a bit dazed. I never expected that I'd actually be going through a rebirth scenario like the ones you only see in novels. I went back to college on the day of the final exams. That was also the day my life took a turn. In a past life. The same scene. I caught Lian cheating on an exam. Just as she bent down to pick up the little note, our eyes met. She turned pale with fright. In her desperation, she clasped her hands together, her face filled with pleading, following the principle that it's better to avoid trouble. I didn't do anything. He lowered his head and continued answering the questions. It was just a regular final exam. All I had to do was pass. It wasn't some big entrance exam. College students. Exams. That's just how it is. But to her surprise, she was so absorbed in cheating that the proctor caught her red-handed. This professor is known throughout the department for being very particular. Exposed on the spot in the silent exam room, Lian usually projects the image of a studious goddess. If a student were caught cheating on the spot, other students might just laugh it off after all. The worst that could happen is having to take a makeup exam, but she was acting as if her life depended on it. His public image crumbled in an instant. I never would have guessed that the school beauty's top student persona was all a facade. I wonder if she was cheating back then. 2. No wonder she didn't get a spot in the graduate school recommendation program this time. That's so fake. She doesn't seem like that kind of person at all. She looks so innocent. Does she smoke and drink in private? In my previous life. On the day the school released its list of students subject to public censure, I had just received an offer to attend Capital University's graduate program. I was so caught up in the joy of being accepted into graduate school without having to take the entrance exam that I completely failed to notice the venom in her eyes. I never expected she'd gone to such great lengths just to ruin me. In my past life, I could never understand why she would ruin me just because I saw her cheating. Is it just because I'm an orphan with no one to turn to? It wasn't until after she died that I realized this while staying by her side. She thought I had discovered her secret. I once saw her get into a black Mercedes with a bottle of water inside. Actually, I didn't realize what she was doing at the time. Don't blame me. If you're going to blame anyone, blame yourself. It's your own fault for looking at something you shouldn't have, she murmured, without a trace of guilt on her face. People with a dark side see everything in a negative light. The memory of the pain from my body being crushed under the wheels is still fresh in my mind. At that moment, the school beauty was still playing the victim, clasping her hands together and begging me not to report her. I smiled at her. What was I thinking? If I'm this pathetic again after getting a second chance at life, I'd want to slap myself. I caught a glimpse of the proctor walking toward me, as she looked on in horror. He raised his hand, feigning confusion. Teacher, there seems to be something on the floor. It looks like Bai Lian brought it in. Or maybe I'm just seeing things. I pretended to be puzzled, speaking with a tone of uncertainty, but in reality, I had just ratted out the person involved. This adds further uncertainty to the facts. A past life. That's just how the school beauty-ish sets herself apart from the rest. I'm just good at learning. The proctor is also our subject instructor. She picked up the note from the ground, unfolded it, and let her gaze wander over by Lian. He led her out of the classroom. This public reprimand came a little earlier than it did in my previous life. When I got back to the dorm, I saw Bai Lian lying face down on the bed, sobbing, while my roommate, Su Qing, was comforting her. When she saw me, she gave me an accusing look. Li Xingnan, are you out of your mind? With so many people cheating, why are you singling out Lian? Su Qing came from a privileged background, but despite her spoiled brat attitude, Bai Lian had her right where she wanted her. He was her lackey. It was the same scene. In my previous life, I didn't speak up, and Su Qing was also accusing me. Li Xingnan, you're such a good student, why didn't you clear Lian's name? At the time, I actually found myself agonizing over it, wondering if I had really done something wrong. Now I realize that no matter what I do, it's always my fault. They don't care what I think. So, instead of reflecting on myself, I'd rather blame others. If you want to drive me crazy, then none of us should live anymore. I put down the textbook I was holding, pointed to the voice recording app on my phone, and found the school's online forum. She let out a sinister, cold laugh. So you're saying she cheated and I'm the one who has to take the fall? Am I her mom or her dad? To be so considerate of her. I just posted that on the forum to see what everyone thinks, probably not expecting me to be this crazy. Su Qing and Bai Lian both looked up at me. Bai Lian rushed over in a panic and snatched my phone. I shoved her away and looked down at her from above. If you start acting like a princess, go get a job at a don't mess with me. After saying that, I looked at the two of them who were too scared to speak, smiled slightly, and added, by the way, I really am sick. So don't mess with me. You don't want me to get so sick that I start rambling, do you? The other day, I wanted to say something but held back. But I knew that Bai Lian, feeling guilty, would surely start overthinking things. That's right. I must repay, one by one, all the suffering I endured in my past life. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet. A game of cat and mouse. Of course, it's more fun to take your time. As I sat in the library, recalling several key moments from my past life, Chang Xin suddenly appeared before me. I forgot at that point. He hadn't started hitting on Bai Lian yet. The library is very warm, so I'm wearing a thin sweater. Without a word, he grabbed my hand and led me outside. It wasn't until I dragged him up to the rooftop that I truly felt as if I had been reborn. It was still winter at the time. The wind on the rooftop stung my face. Bai Lian stood at the edge of the rooftop, screaming hysterically. At the entrance to the rooftop were the tour guide and the dean, who were there to welcome visitors. Why doesn't anyone believe me? I didn't cheat. She set me up through her cheat sheet on my desk, and I just opened it out of curiosity to take a peek. I really didn't copy. It was as if she were about to shatter into pieces. Her hair fluttered in the breeze, and she exuded a sense of beauty. The men present all wore expressions of sympathy that were as if cut from the same mold. It's as if she doesn't realize how beautiful she is. He took another step back, but his hands were clenched tightly around the railing. When she saw me, the despair in her eyes deepened. Her lips trembled, and tears fell like beads from a broken string. You've already been accepted into graduate school, why won't you just leave me alone? What did I do wrong? Would you be satisfied only if I died? I sensed the curious glances around me fixed on me, just as they had in my past life. My boyfriend, Chang Xin, who was standing nearby, gave me a nudge, pushing me into the spotlight. His tone was anxious. If only I hadn't known about his dirty little secrets. It's hard to tell if. In his anxiety, he was right. Li Xingnan, will you say something already? I gave him a cold look. I didn't do anything. What am I supposed to admit? Chang Xian looked at me with a disappointed expression, as if he were blaming me. In my past life, I never understood why my boyfriend always took Bai Lianlian's side. Later, I found out that he had actually confessed his feelings to Lin Qingqing first. But after she rejected him, he chose me instead. He thought that being close to the water gave him an advantage. Her heart and eyes were filled with nothing but him, the school's most sought-after beauty. Upon hearing my words, Bai Lianlian seemed to be deeply shaken. She shook her head repeatedly while frantically insisting it wasn't her. The dean, who had overheard my words, grew anxious. Li Xingnan, a human life is at stake. The dean then turned and looked gently at Bai Lianlian. Bai Lianlian, don't worry. I'll definitely get to the bottom of this and clear your name. Don't act impulsively. Even the students watching were whispering among themselves, accusing me of being cold-hearted and heartless. I knew Bai Lianlian wouldn't cheat. Someone must have framed her. Exactly. You wouldn't risk your life just for a final exam, would you? In my past life, I was held hostage by this group of people and roasted over a fire. He was forced to confess to a crime he did not commit. After that, the school actually turned the lie into the truth and pinned the blame for cheating squarely on me. Word of this incident spread online. I was cyberbullied. Everyone online is saying that I bullied my roommate in college and drove her to jump off a building. I lost my spot in the graduate school recommendation program. I don't have a boyfriend anymore. I have nothing left. As for Bai Lianlian, she was dubbed the most serious-minded female straight-A student by netizens because she took her own life to make a statement. They started a live stream and attracted a huge wave of traffic. They gained a bunch of followers and made a fortune. I was exposed online, vilified, couldn't find a job, and met a tragic death under the wheels of a car. Even after she died, she was still feasting on my blood-soaked buns. They labeled me as having committed suicide out of fear of punishment. On the other hand, I'm not mentally strong enough, so if that's the case, why did I frame her in the first place? How could someone who truly wants to die give others a chance to save them? She hadn't even thought about dying. She just wanted to make a big fuss, pretending to take her own life to make a statement and win sympathy. In fact, the rescue airbag had already been set up downstairs. Even if I really did jump, I'd be fine. Bai Lianlian let out a theatrical, hysterical scream. It's really a shame I didn't study acting. The surrounding shouts of accusation mingled with the pain of his hand and body being dragged under the wheels in his previous life. An abnormal throbbing in the blood vessels at my temples, accompanied by a roaring sound. I rubbed the bridge of my nose and let out a low, sinister laugh. I went crazy in an instant. Whether it was true or not, old and new grievances welled up inside him. The thread of reason snapped. Ignoring everyone else, I rushed toward Lin Qingqing as fast as I could, and as she struggled and screamed, I grabbed her tightly and jumped off the rooftop with her. If I cheated, I cheated. Why are you acting all high and mighty? I've already been accepted into graduate school. Why would I want to frame you? Who do you think you are? Is your brain filled with nothing but nonsense? You want to die, don't you? Come on, let's die together. You want to jump off the building, don't you? Don't you know how? Come on, I'll teach you how to jump. After several dozen seconds of weightlessness, the body landed on a prepositioned air cushion. Due to the immense inertia, his body bounced a few times before coming to a stop. Bai Lianlian sat motionless on the air mattress, her lips pale. You're crazy. Everyone on the rooftop came down as well. Chang Xian was the first to rush over and carry Bai Lianlian down. She looked pitiful. Sure enough, he was completely captivated by her delicate, fragile appearance. Li Xingnan, are you out of your mind? That's the 20th floor. Apologize to Lianlian right now. I looked up at this man who had to rely on my connections just to find an advisor for his thesis. A wave of nausea. I gagged and saw that the person in front of me looked even worse. First of all, You're my boyfriend. Besides, how can someone who cheated even have the nerve to ask for an apology? It wasn't me who got caught plagiarizing. When she heard what I said, Bai Lianlian's face turned even paler. It's great to be young, no need to wear foundation. Zhang Xian stuck out his neck. His face flushed with anger. Apologize to Lianlian, and I'll take you off my block list. It just occurred to me that, before the plagiarism incident, Zhang Xian and I had been arguing. The reason is that whenever we're together, he always tries to find out about the school beauty in a roundabout way. I couldn't take it anymore, so I got into an argument with him. With those two things combined, the buff below is fully stacked. I reached out and slapped Zhang Xian across the face. What are you barking about? Are you that excited to see the school beauty? You piece of shit. He didn't expect what I did, and he was completely taken aback. With my classmates' help, I steadied myself on my feet and glared at the scumbag and the slut in front of me, letting out a cold snort. You piece of trash, you'd be perfect for the trash can. Break up with him. Who the hell would dare cheat on your dad? The suicide incident caused quite a stir at school. But I didn't have to take the blame. Wherever Bai Lianlian goes, people point and whisper about her. Before, she had a bunch of guys fawning over her. Wherever he goes, people fawn over him. He has reaped all the benefits of his good looks. People always love beautiful things. Yet we unconsciously keep our distance from what is beautiful. This is an instinctive sense of inferiority. Originally, Bai Lianlian's public image at school was that of a beautiful, intelligent, and graceful girl who also excelled academically. Teachers tend to show her some favoritism. I heard that Bai Lianlian has also applied for one of these spots in the direct admission program. If it weren't for my high GPA from my regular exams, there's really no telling who would have gotten the spot. Bai Lianlian's previous image as a goddess is deeply ingrained, and as a result, people's expectations of her have risen accordingly. If she makes even the slightest mistake, her public image will crumble. But this is only the first step of the plan. I'm determined to destroy, step by step, the things Bai Lianlian cares about most, whether now or in the future. Su Qing came to see me a few times, and all she kept asking was why I had hurt Bai Lianlian. I looked at the young lady who detested evil with a passion and saw the world in black and white, thinking back to my previous life. Bai Lianlian climbed her way to the top by stepping on my dead body. She didn't even spare the people closest to her who had her best interests at heart. I don't know how she managed to hook up with Su Qing's childhood sweetheart and fiancé and cheat on her right in front of her. The funny thing is, Su Qing had absolutely no idea that her best friend had already been seeing her fiancé. When Bai Lianlian decided to enter the entertainment industry, he was still doing his utmost to support and protect her. In the end, she not only lost her fiancé, but also brought down the entire Su family. He's just as pitiful as I am. Did I hurt Bai Lianlian? Looking at the innocent young lady standing before me, I smiled faintly but said nothing. Su Qing had a temper. She stopped me in my tracks and demanded, "What are you laughing at? How can you laugh when you've left that person in such a miserable state?" I raised an eyebrow. I'm laughing at certain people who are so blind they can't tell whether the people around them are jackals or tigers and leopards and end up losing both the battle and the war. Seeing that Su Qing still looked puzzled, I sighed. If I were you, I wouldn't let Bai Lianlian get close to anyone around me. Just as Su Qing was about to ask something else, I turned and walked away. Sometimes what I say isn't important. What matters is that the seed of doubt has been planted. Let it take root and sprout. As far as I know, in the timeline, Bai Lianlian has already started seeing Su Qing's fiancé, Qi Tianan. The car she got into last time was the same one that Qi Tianan often drove onto campus to pick up Su Qing. And Su Qing, he's not very bright. And he's completely love-struck. If I just tell her the truth, she'll think I'm lying to her and trying to drive a wedge between us. Why not let her figure it out on her own? She will become my sword. Striking at Bai Lianlian, we just finished setting up this line over here. I found out I was exposed online. First, a lot of packages addressed to me suddenly appeared at the shipping station out of nowhere. When I opened them, they indeed contained the bodies of some small animals. Later, Strangers started calling me and sending me abusive messages. It just came to me. I opened a short video app one rarely use, and was flooded with private messages, following in netizens' directions. I went to a video. I discovered that the person who exposed me online was none other than Lian. She posted a series of clarification videos on her account's homepage. In the video, she looks utterly heartbroken. She was wearing a long white dress and had on subtle, elegant makeup. Judging by the room's furnishings, it appeared to be a high-end hotel. I really didn't cheat. These are my grades since I started college. You can all see that I've always done well on my exams. How could I possibly have plagiarized? My family sent me to college so that I could study hard and get a good job. It was all Li Xinan's fault. She was jealous of my good grades and was afraid I'd take her spot in the graduate school recommendation program. What exactly do I have to do to believe in myself? As she finished speaking, her tears streamed down her face like beads on a broken string. That pitiful look of his, even I found myself moved by it. Not to mention the viewers watching the video. The comments under the video are mostly insults directed at me and words of comfort for her. Before long, I was exposed online, and my school was dragged into the controversy and trended on social media. Netizens believed Lian's one-sided account. Leave a comment on my account that I rarely use, or send me a private message. She took the opportunity to play the victim to win her fans' sympathy. And since she was already pretty to begin with, and with the help of beauty filters, she quickly racked up 100,000 followers. I saw that she had set up a storefront on her homepage and listed a little yellow bike. I also created a secondary account, went into her live stream, and noticed that people were constantly sending gifts. The corners of her lips curled up a smile even AK couldn't suppress. I've received everyone's kind wishes. Thank you all for your support. I will donate all the income one earned from my live streams to schools in remote areas so that more children can have access to a fair education. As expected, her kind demeanor won over one fan after another, and gifts kept pouring in via the comment stream. In comparison, my situation is pretty dire. Following the online reports, the school has had my advisor contact me several times. What they were really saying was that they wanted me to take all the responsibility. My advisor approached me and gently persuaded me, if you take responsibility for this, the school will keep your spot in the graduate school recommendation program. Otherwise, given your current reputation, even Capital University where you were originally accepted will turn you away. I stared at the counselor's hypocritical face, my expression blank. So even though I didn't do it, do I have to take the blame? Do I have to jump off a building and play the victim online too, so the school will take my side? I've always been humble and polite. I've never been this aggressive before. The counselor's expression suddenly became quite something. The school just wants me to take all the blame, and then cut me off once they've gotten what they want. Let me be exposed online. Help Lian push me to the brink. I snorted. First, I went to the psychiatric department at the hospital to get a certificate of depression. In my previous life, I had already suffered a mental breakdown, so the doctor was able to diagnose me with ease. He then downloaded the clarification video from Lian's homepage and saved it to his phone. It's been shared over 10,000 times. Lian clearly has no knowledge of the law. Defaming another person via the internet, where the defamatory content was actually clicked on or viewed more than 5,000 times, or reposted more than 500 times. And the victim has suffered another mental breakdown. I'll see how she explains this one. Fools deserve to suffer the consequences of their stupidity. Those who try to manipulate public opinion will eventually be brought down by that very opinion. I went to the police with the evidence. The reason is that Lian has a crush on my boyfriend, and she's willing to do anything to steal him away from me, and she even wants to ruin my life. At the police station, I sobbed uncontrollably as I recounted the entire story. Overcome with grief, the incident involving the person jumping from a building had already caused quite a stir online, and the police had all heard about it. After reviewing my evidence and listening to my account, the policewoman comforted me with a sympathetic look on her face. Lian was taken to the police station, looking completely bewildered. But the moment she saw me, she quickly composed herself. A single tear rolled down her cheek. Li Xingnan, what exactly do you want? Will you only be happy if I die? If it's because of Zhang Xin, I'll let him go to you. But before she could finish speaking, the police had already gone to the school and gathered the evidence. They pulled up the surveillance footage from the exam. Of course. I also saw the entire process of Bai Lianlian cheating in the exam room. As Bai Lianlian watched the video, all the color drained from her face. Playing the victim. Pretending to be weak. Me too. With a pale face. I looked up at Bai Lianlian. What did I do wrong? Why are you treating me this way? Not only did you threaten to kill yourself on the rooftop, but you also exposed me online. Would you be happy if I died? Then I staggered and collapsed into the arms of the young policewoman standing next to me. The young lady led me to the lounge. Meanwhile, Bai Lianlian was being interrogated. Before long, while I was taking a break, I suddenly heard a commotion. A familiar voice reached my ears. And I slowly curved my lips into a smile. Before going to the police station, I sent anonymous text messages to Zhang Xin and Su Qing, telling them they absolutely had to come to the police station to rescue their friendly best friend. If I'm not mistaken, Bai Lianlian will definitely call her boyfriend to sort this out. The three of them bumped into each other. I can't even imagine how beautiful the view is. I got away with it in my past life, but in this one, I deserve to be trampled into the ground. As I walked into the mediation room, a clear handprint was visible on Bai Lianlian's face. She stood behind a stranger. Her head bowed in dejection. Su Qing's face turned ashen as a stranger grabbed her by the shoulders. As for Zhang Xin, he was standing next to Bai Lianlian. And he didn't look too happy either. Of course it doesn't look good. The girl of his dreams was playing him like a fool, with a man's dignity trampled underfoot. How could he possibly feel at ease? I thought of you as my best friend, and you went and hit on my fiancé. How low can you go? Isn't Zhang Xin enough for you? Bai Lianlian shuddered and ducked back behind the man once more. Su Qing charged forward like an angry little beast. But the man in front of her pinned her shoulders down firmly. This man must be her so-called childhood sweetheart and fiancé. The man frowned, then looked displeased. That's such a rude thing to say, you have no manners. Is that how Uncle Su raised you? That one line almost made me laugh out loud. Su Qing's fiancé is also a blind, charming man. Su Qing's expression froze as she stared at the person in front of her in disbelief. I'm sorry. Qing. But I just can't help myself. I truly love him. I'd die if I had to leave him. Her words made Zhang Xin's expression grow even more grim. In a corner where no one was watching, my heart was bursting with joy. What a battleground. What a drama if I leave. I'll die. What a drama stealing her best friend's boyfriend. The policewoman cast a look of utter contempt at Bai Lianlian as she sternly maintained order. Although they were dissatisfied, they had no choice but to sit down obediently. I was sitting there too. And a hostile gaze fell upon me. I looked up and realized that the person staring at me was Su Qing's fiancé. Having been in the business world for so long, he surely understood all the ins and outs of it. They must know that I'm the one who started it all. So what? If you've done something wrong, you shouldn't be afraid of ghosts knocking at your door. Now that I've been given a second chance at life, I've never once thought of just sitting back and taking it. Bai Lianlian and I will fight to the death. I gave Bai Lianlian a half smile. You make such a big deal out of cheating on exams. You make such a big deal out of stealing my boyfriend. And you make such a big deal out of stealing my best friend's boyfriend. 2. Your life isn't worth much, you'd die in a heartbeat. Bai Lianlian's expression froze. It's not that justice won't be served, it's just not the right time yet. As expected, Su Qing's fiancé pulled some strings to get Bai Lianlian out of jail. I know this little thing isn't going to bring Bai Lianlian down at all. It's okay. At first, I just wanted to teach her a lesson. After all, only if she keeps jumping around can I make her rot with my own 2 hands. Her enemies are all out there. Her short video account was suspended, and all her videos were taken down. With a criminal record on file with the police, she'll never be able to work as a civil servant. Her fans are still voluntarily posting online to defend her. which has even sparked a small surge in online buzz. More insults appeared in my private messages. I immediately posted a video on my account showing the moment she cheated during the exam. The situation took an unexpected turn. Quite a few supportive netizens switched sides to support me, while quite a few fans were claiming that the video must have been photoshopped. They even earnestly asked the person involved to respond. Goddess, as long as you say it wasn't you, I'll believe you. When I saw this top comment, I almost laughed out loud. Your goddess is in a real bind right now. You should definitely pick the softest persimmons. The school once again shifted the blame onto Bai Lianlian. No matter how influential Su Qing's fiancé may be, he cannot sway the school's intentions. As soon as the school's official website posted its clarification, it immediately caused a huge stir. Unlike Bai Lianlian's previous accounts, which were just small-time affairs, the school's official Weibo account has a solid 10 million followers. Current students, alumni, and students from other schools. Over the course of several years, the number of personnel has grown to a considerable size. The information that was released is undoubtedly concrete evidence. In my previous life, the last straw that broke the camel's back was also a message from the official Weibo account. Bai Lianlian threatened to take her own life to force the school administration to issue a statement. The hospital took advantage of the situation and tricked me into believing they would delete the post once the fuss died down. But in the end, I didn't even live long enough to delete the post. Even if I die, no one remembers. It didn't make a splash at all. People only bring it up in casual conversation that Li Xingnan, who framed the goddess for cheating, is dead. In this life, I won't be the subject of anyone's after-dinner gossip. Since graduation is just around the corner, there are many documents that require my personal signature. Bai Lianlian had no choice but to appear in public. Su Qing, of course, wasn't going to let her off the hook either. I saw her when I was picking up my diploma. Judging by the way she was dressed, she seemed to be doing pretty well, dressed head to toe in designer clothes, carrying a Chanel bag. Her face still had that pitiful look. But no one thought she was innocent anymore. The two huge burdens of the mistress and cheating weighed heavily on her, crushing her completely. While I was using the restroom, Su Qing cornered her in the bathroom. Through the door, I could hear the two of them arguing. I've been so good to you, why are you stealing my fiancé? Faced with Su Qing's confrontational question, Bai Lianlian let out a cold laugh. You're nice to me. How could a young lady of your standing possibly take a liking to someone like me? You say you care about me, but would you really give me a bag you don't use anymore? Are you treating me like a beggar you're just trying to get rid of? You're so kind to me, but when I asked you for an internship opportunity, you told me no. Su Qing, I have the utmost contempt for people like you, a high and mighty young lady who thinks a little charity will make me pour out my heart and soul. After I finished speaking, I heard the sound of water. I quietly opened the door a crack and saw Bai Lianlian splashing all the water from the sink onto herself. Her carefully styled hair was a mess, and her makeup had smudged a bit. Then she smiled at Su Qing. Miss, do you think that when everyone sees me like this, they'll assume you're bullying me? Have you figured out how you're going to apologize to me? As if that weren't enough, she continued her taunts. You really are stupid. I just happen to need something to take the heat off the current scandal. A rich girl bullying her classmates should make for quite a spectacle. Your fiancé's mine, and so is your reputation. You idiot. With that, Bai Lianlian walked out of the restroom, leaving Su Qing completely baffled. That's what I was saying, 100 insects die but do not stiffen. Bai Lianlian really never gives up, does she? But there are no shortcuts in life. The higher she jumps, the faster she dies. Almost overnight, news of a wealthy girl bullying her classmates spread across the internet. The same tactics, the same tricks. This time, however, Bai Lianlian didn't deliberately play the victim. Instead, she used others' words to cast herself in the role of the bullied. Anansideras revealed that Bai Lianlian was often bullied by Su Qing at school and acted as her sidekick. Some people even say that Bai Lianlian was actually in love with Su Qing's fiancé even before she met Su Qing. Accusing Yu Qing of being the other woman. Their ability to twist the truth is truly impressive. She really is ruthless just to make it look like she was being bullied. She actually did this during her argument with Su Qing. He tumbled down the stairs right in front of everyone. Su Qing suddenly became the target of widespread criticism. No matter how she tried to explain it, no one believed her. It must be an unpleasant experience to be exposed online. That night, I had a dream. I dreamed about a past life in which I was caught in the wheels of a car and later taken to the hospital. Su Qing went to find Bai Lianlian and asked her if she had done it. Bai Lianlian played innocent, denied it was her, distanced herself from the matter, and even said I deserved it, even after I died. They bought a social media account to spread the rumor that I had committed suicide out of fear of punishment. I've had my last taste of human blood buns. I was an orphan, and there was no one to take care of my funeral arrangements. For reasons unknown, Su Qing sent someone to retrieve my body. When I woke up, I had mixed feelings. I saw her being isolated and ridiculed. For a moment, I was lost in thought. Oh, Bai Lianlian. Damn it. Some media outlets contacted Bai Lianlian with the intention of producing a series of reports on the bullying incident. The first episode features Bai Lianlian. For the sake of the show, the entire event will be broadcast live. This was just what Bai Lianlian wanted. She had been worried that no footage of her would be leaked. On the day of the live stream, I gave her a big gift. Hanging out in Bai Lianlian's live stream, I smiled as I looked at Bai Lianlian, who looked so pitiful yet stunningly beautiful. I had long ago anonymously sent the audio I recorded in the restroom earlier and the video I took of Bai Lianlian staging the whole thing to this media outlet's rival. Dealing with public opinion, it's best to let the professionals handle it. Behind her flowery facade, Bai Lianlian continued to state the so-called facts. When the host asked her why she had the courage to expose the young lady, and whether she was afraid of retaliation, tears welled up in Bai Lianlian's eyes, and her face was filled with a sense of relief. I don't blame Su Qing. All the bullying she subjected me to served as a catalyst for my growth. I will become a better version of myself. The light boat has already sailed past 10,000 mountains. The comments in the live chat were all compliments for her. Then, the very next second, people in the comment stream started asking, "No way, such a great actor." Then a link appeared in the comment stream. I clicked on it and, sure enough, saw a video from a rival media outlet. Countless netizens clicked on the video and posted malicious comments in the live chat. Public opinion has begun to swing overwhelmingly in one direction. Staging a bullying incident and then having the nerve to go live on a show are the standards for getting on shows that low these days. I think this is the same person involved in that cheating scandal a few days ago. That's so gross. Countless negative reviews began to appear. Bai Lianlian's true colors were exposed in front of the entire internet, leaving a stench in her wake. Her face grew even paler. The live broadcast was forced to end. I covered my face and laughed. A tinge of satisfaction at the thought of revenge welled up from deep within me. Bai Lianlian's reputation is completely ruined. She probably wouldn't even dream that it was me. When I saw Su Qing's friend request, I was preparing for the civil service exam. The first message when adding a friend. Bai Lianlian is on the rooftop. I raised an eyebrow. On a whim, I walked briskly to the bottom of the school building. As soon as I looked up, I saw the girl sitting at the edge of the rooftop. When I went up to the rooftop, I saw quite a few familiar faces. Zhang Xian eagerly stepped up beside me. "Nan Nan, I knew you'd come. Ever since I broke up with him, I've confessed to Zhang Xian's thesis advisor that I wrote most of his thesis. The thesis advisor wouldn't tolerate even the slightest flaw and immediately ordered him to rewrite it. After realizing that the goddess only treated him like a dog, he eagerly came crawling back to me. I didn't give him a friendly look. I took a step to the side, coming to stand right next to Su Qing. Su Qing glanced at Zhang Xian. "Your crush is over there." Zhang Xian's expression suddenly darkened. The school administrators who had previously urged me to take the blame looked utterly dejected. "Why are you all pushing me so hard? Just let me die." Bai Lianlian was still giving it her all. The moment our eyes met, I gave her a defiant smile. He opened his mouth and mouthed the words, "Asshole." Bai Lianlian's gaze suddenly turned venomous. Then she seemed to think of something. He left behind the words, "I am innocent. And I will prove it with my death." Watching the curve of her lips, I laughed. She surely doesn't think there's a rescue airbag set up downstairs. Does she? Today, a lot of luxury cars suddenly appeared at the school gate, blocking the road. I heard it took the fire trucks quite a while to get in. I just unfolded the air mattress when I went upstairs, so it probably isn't fully inflated yet. Bai Lian isn't dead. She landed on the half-deflated air mattress. Multiple fractures throughout the body, including comminuted fractures in several critical areas. Apart from being able to move his eyes, he was completely paralyzed and confined to his hospital bed. I ran into her at the hospital. Quite a few media outlets had heard the news and rushed over, surrounding her and snapping photos left and right. Her parents, who favored sons over daughters, even showed the media footage of her defecating and urinating in bed. I heard that this way you can make more money, claiming to be Bai Lian's best friend. I carried a basket of fruit and easily made my way to the head of her bed. That's so sad. Then he pretended to tuck the blanket around her and leaned in close to her ear. That's so stupid. Guess who leaked the video? You really look ugly right now. Then, looking at the red rings around her eyes, I pretended to be sad and left the hospital room. A month later, I heard that Bai Lian had died. Her parents decided to donate her heart to the daughter of a well-known businessman. As I read the message, the sadness in my heart finally faded away. As for Su Qing, she ended up marrying her fiancé after all, but I heard that shortly after they got married, her fiancé died in a car accident caused by brake failure. The specific nature is unclear, and Su Qing was already pregnant with her fiancé's child, his only child. At that, what happened next? I gave up on preparing for the graduate school entrance exam and chose to become a civil servant instead, taking on the most entry-level position at the grassroots level in a county town. Su Qing became a businesswoman, running 2 companies. Chang Xian failed his thesis 3 times. My degree has been revoked, and I can't even find a job. I went back to my hometown. When I saw Su Qing again in my capacity as deputy mayor of a certain city, there was no longer any trace of her former infatuation. Over the past decade or so, I've been climbing quickly. From the county to the city, everything went smoothly. As she gradually gained power, she certainly had a hand in it. We exchanged a knowing smile, then shook hands. Some things are best left unspoken.